아프리카 스타크래프트의 자존심 소닉TV와 함께하고 있습니다. 여기서 박주호 지면 탈락이에요. 박주호가 결승 가냐? 아니 박주호가 한 번 더 포문에서 분위기 타느냐? 포문맵입니다. 박주호 잘했으면 좋겠네요. 힘을 좀 내줘야 돼요. 네, 힘내야죠. 팬들 많이 왔거든요. 경기 가보도록 하겠습니다. 박주호 하나 둘 셋. 박준호 하나 둘 셋. 소닉 하나 둘 셋.
She did a Sonic thing too, and nobody cheered for Sonic. Wow. It's pretty mean. It's pretty harsh. Anyway, we are on Wind and Cloud. Pretty cool name. And Killer is up 2-0 in this series. Bit unfortunate at that last game. I'm sure Pusan is feeling pretty frustrated. I mean, you know, after game 1 is a pretty long and intense close game, just kind of not quite able to pull it out at the end, and then he's getting build order owned in game 2. I wonder if he'll just 11x again here, just for lulz. If he'll just proxy gate. Let us see. What is he gonna do? Come on, Pusan. You can do it. I have faith. I believe. Give me a non-ZVZ finals. Come on, Pusan. I believe. I believe. Alright. He's not scouting. I think he's 11xing again. And it's not a 9 pool though, so that's good. Woo! Yeah. Oh no, he's scouting now. Oh wait, he's building a... Is that a gateway? That looks like a gateway from here. Yes indeed it is! That is a gateway, ladies and gentlemen. Oh no! No, Pusan! No! Don't do it! Don't do it, man! I mean, it worked for Sky, but that dude's a cheeser. You're not a cheeser. You're not like that. You don't have to stoop to his level, man. Oh, at least at close positions. Sky won with this in cross positions. And he's facing a 12 hatch. This could be good. It could be good. Alright, the gateway's finished. The spawning pool has just started, and the second gateway's almost done. So, that's good. That is in fact good. Alright, here we go. Come on, Pusan, let's do it. Let's do it. It's okay to cheese once in a while. It's alright. I'll forgive you for this if you can win the series. See, now if he goes on to win the series, that'd be pretty amazing. And so he sees the Overlord going in from the bottom right, so he knows that his opponent is in fact at the bottom right, and he's probably thanking God that they're not cross positions. This map looks pretty big. You have to run a long way. And looks like the drone is about to come and see these gateways. Now the thing is, he's not actually pulling probes. You see, when Sky did it, he pulled like 4 probes, but Pusan's not pulling probes. It's like gas being cancelled, of course. Doesn't need that. And is Pusan not going to pull out any probes, or is he just waiting for another zealot? I think 3 zealots are walking across now, and he hasn't pulled any probes yet. So Pusan is not like going completely all out here like Sky did, which I think is a mistake. I think he should just pull probes, because you're basically all in anyway. You're not transitioning out of this, are you? I don't think so. So it'd be so much more useful if he had like 3 more probes here right now, but he doesn't. I don't think this is gonna work. Yeah, I think this is over already. I think this was actually just like the most disappointing series of all time. Oh man, Pusan, dude. See, that's why you should. I don't know if you have this prepared or not, but this is why you should not just cheese if you haven't prepared it. Because see, when Sky cheese, that's alright, because Sky does it all the time. Like, he knows exactly how to just own the Zerg with the 2-gate. But this wasn't even close. Like, this was just like Pusan's mad. He's like, oh, I'm gonna 9-9 you, and he doesn't actually know how to do it. Because contrary to what some people will tell you, like, you know, cheese is not actually that easy. I mean, you know, it's not exactly the most skilled thing you can do. But you at least have to know a little bit of what you are doing. You can't just like randomly go 9-9 gate and expect it to work. Well, he's trying to actually transition here. I mean, he did build the gateways in such a way that, you know, it's kind of walling there. I mean, I hope it's at least tight above the top gateway. It's not tight between the two gateways. And obviously there's a gap below the bottom gateway, but he can build a forge somewhere and make a cannon behind there, but he's in pretty rough shape here. I mean, he's making more zealots, but alright, that's probably a cannon. Actually, wait, no. He doesn't have a forge yet, does he? It's probably a pylon. What the hell is that? Is that just a pylon? Oh, it's not tight above the second gateway! Ah, that's a bitch. Block it, block the ramp, block the ramp. Ah, you got to. Alright, one's not a big deal. Oh no, he does have a forge already, my bad. Okay, so there's a cannon then. I was confused. I was like, why is he just building a second pylon there? No, that was a cannon. Okay, cool. So the next is actually finishes now. And some of the less experienced among you might be like, well, Sayle, look, he just got his expansion up. You know, the Zerg's still on 2 bases, so it's 2 base against 2 base. Surely the Protoss is fine. Oh, poor naive little person you who thinks that. Oh, he's actually just killed his own Sunken to get his mining a little bit better. Actually, that's partly valid, but the thing is, his tech is also so far behind now, so whatever tech Killer decides to go for is going to be pretty hard to deal with. It's more likely going to be Mutas as a follow-up, I think, from Killer. I mean, some kind of lurker bust is not out of the question, considering there's only 1 cannon there, but I think it's much more likely to be Mutas. And there's really nothing that Pusan has that can really defend well against that. He's just going to have to build more cannons and kind of pray that he can get, you know, Corsairs or whatever out in time to defend it. Yep, there's a Spire, halfway done. He's getting a second gas, so it is almost certainly going to be a Muta follow-up here. He's not bothering to take his 3rd base yet, so, you know, even though the conventional wisdom is that, you know, Protoss, or rather Zerg has to be a base ahead of the Protoss, in this case, just going for those faster Mutas is going to more than make up for it when those come out. He's going to be able to do a ton of damage. So, this is interesting. It's interesting. Pusan definitely still has a chance. But, I mean, you know, if you think about it, if he went for like a 10-12 gate at his natural in the same position, he probably would have been in a similar spot right now, but with a much stronger economy. So, you know, the 9-9 really didn't do that much for him. Anyway, he has got the Stargate starting to pump now. He's got 1 cannon at his main. Probably wants at least 1 more there. I think he wants at least 2, and it looks like, yeah, he's going to make a second one there. Might even want 3, actually. You know, over-making static defenses is one of StarCraft's sins, but in this case, I would not mind 3 cannons in the main at all. Especially considering he's moving out with this first Corsair. I mean, he kind of has to. He has to see what's going on, but he could immediately get that Corsair snapped off by the Mutas as they pop. So he's going to see them now. I think he saw those pop, so now he knows exactly what's going on. Is he going to build another cannon? I think he needs another cannon, because the Corsairs actually, in these low numbers, are not going to do that much. They'll just get scourged immediately while the Mutas tank hits from the cannons. I really think he needs a 3rd cannon, like right now. He's building another one as natural. 2 cannons in the main. This is not good. Alright, he's got 2 forces as well. One of them's going to get scourged. Yep, there we go. See, the first one scourged. That was actually a really nice bomb there, by the way. And that cannon goes down immediately. So now he's making a 3rd cannon, but now it's too late. So this is exactly why he needed a 3rd one there. Even if he had a 3rd one before, it would still be a little bit dicey. But looks like with more Corsairs coming out, and with 2 cannons on the way, Killer's actually backing off a little bit. So it looks like Pusan actually is barely going to be okay for now, but now more Scourge coming in. Looks like he's actually decided to maybe go over to the natural. No, he's actually found some Zealots here that he wants to take some pot shots at. And, oh, going to grab a free Dragoon as well. That's not ideal. Pusan kind of needs every little bit of anti-air he can get. Oh, the Dragoon's actually stuck on the outside there. How did that happen? I'm pretty sure it can go along the bottom of the bottom gateway, but maybe just got confused. Anyway, Killer Wall, this has been going on. It's actually taking 3 o'clock. He's actually not committed as much to these mutas as I thought he might. I mean, if he just went, you know, if he just went for it and just went all out with the mutas and just committed to the main, I think he might have been able to just win straight out. But I mean, there would be a slight risk there. So perhaps he's just thinking, well, I'm probably, you know, I am the better player here in this series. You know, I'm up 2-0. I don't really necessarily need to risk it here. I can just, you know, play my game, play a longer game. I'm pretty confident I can win in the long run anyway. You know, I can still do harassment with these mutas, still put them to work, and just see how it goes. You know, no need to commit to some kind of muta all in and let him come back when it fails. By the way, look at the minimap. That's a pretty sick spread here. Killer's got vision all over the place. A tiny bit, maybe an Overlord at the bottom left of his main might be good, just in case a shuttle somehow slips through and drops a DT or something. That could be very, very annoying. but I think it's pretty unlikely at this point anyway. I mean, there's no robo anyway, so it's not a big deal. And well, looks like a few Hydras now poking out. Gonna start poking the front. Looks like +1 attack is in fact done for the Protoss, and he's got a decent-ish army now. And the thing is, you know, if this game goes to the late game, you know, the earlier opening where Pusan kind of did a failed 9-9 game, that's going to become kind of irrelevant here if he can kind of get an even footing in the mid game and the late game. So you know, that small disadvantage from the beginning isn't going to be too big of a deal anymore, which would be nice. Yeah, well, the Hydra's going to poke in here, going to pick off these gateways. Very likely are just going to get them for free. A few storms might ward them away, but I don't think there's really any way to save these. Yeah, might just try and trade them for a couple of Hydras. Does get a couple of Hydras there, but that's just going to go down. And so, you know, gonna lose a bit of infrastructure there. I honestly don't think the Protoss will mind that hugely, because that also gives him, you know, lets him move out a little bit more freely. You know, you don't really want to lose gateways like that, but it could definitely be worse here. And it's not like he has, you know, an insane economy that requires the infrastructure anyway. He's building more gateways in his main, but I think he'll be okay for the time being. The problem is, though, that, you know, Killer right now, he's got him kind of pinned to his base with all these Hydras running around outside. Still got a handful of leftover Mutas and Scourge there. He's kind of leaving them at home. Those can actually provide, you know, decent drop defense. You actually see that in ZVT a lot when there's leftover Mutas from the mid game and they no longer become useful. You just kind of leave them in your main to pick off small drops like that. Because in the big army engagements, they're obviously not useful at all, and you can't really use them for harass very much. It's just not worth the APM anymore because there's enough defenses. I'm actually a little bit surprised. There's 2 spore colonies here at the front. I'm not sure if that's necessary. I guess he's scared of all those Corsairs. It looks like a robo now being made behind the natural, and whoa, those Corsairs actually taking a lot of damage from those spores and the Hydras underneath. Looks like trying to do a bit of damage here. The Muta's actually on a hold position, so he's going to get a couple, no, just one on the edge there before Killer reacts and pulls those back and to grab another Overlord here for free. Looks like the one spore colony not enough to deter these Corsairs. I actually didn't realize quite how many Corsairs there were, so I guess this double spore colony is in fact probably a good idea. The problem is, though, there's so many ground units here. I mean, in a couple of minutes here, Pusan's going to be completely contained with no hope of escape. I mean, he's got to figure out what to do here. I mean, the Corsairs are all well and good, but if he can't leave his natural, you know, eventually he'll just lose anyway. He'll just get starved out. A drone, by the way, is going over there. I don't know if that's a mistake or if he's going to try and Sunken Spore Lurker contain him by building a hatchery there. That's actually not always a BM move. You can actually legitimately build a hatchery in front of your opponent's natural if you have enough units and you have map control. And look at this, Pusan trying to poke out here, but he doesn't have nearly enough units to move out. Although it looks like actually most of this is unbuildable ground, so I guess that drone probably is a mistake. Yeah, you can't actually do the sunken contain thing, unfortunately. It is quite cool to see, although incredibly annoying as a Protoss player. So, yeah. Looks like the Corsairs are the only attacking force that Pusan really has right now, so he's trying to put them to work. Unfortunately, losing another Corsair for free there. But he can kill as many Overlords as he wants. And I think Killer's just going to laugh at him because eventually he's going to get mined out. Eventually, Pusan's going to have to move out here into this giant ring of lurkers, and he's going to cry. And here we go. I think this could be it. Here's the breakout. He needs to keep the Zealots back a little bit. He wants the Dragoons to lead first. He wants the Dragoons to pick off all the lurkers before the Zealots die. Oh man, I don't know if that was the best execution. There is actually a hatchery there, so he was actually thinking of doing the Sunken Spore Lurker thing, but most of that is unbuildable, so I really feel like that's a waste. And in fact, oh, he was building hatcheries on both sides. What the shit? Oh my god, he's like, well, the middle here is unbuildable, so I guess I'll just build everywhere else around your base. And I think he actually has enough units that it doesn't matter. He might just win the game before those hatcheries even finish. Oh man, poor Pusan. He's got a lot of Dragoons left, so maybe he can actually stop this for now, but he's still in a tricky position. I mean, you know, actually losing these 2 hatcheries here, he's going to cancel them, but that's a bit of a mineral loss there. Basically losing, was that a third of the cost every time he cancels that? So 200 minerals or something down the drain for nothing. But I think he's still in a fine position here. Was just trying to goof off a little bit. I mean, he is up 2-0, so it's like, you know, you can goof off a little bit in this game, and even if he loses, it's not the end of the world. But that is rather amusing. So There's one Muta actually left there. I wonder if he was thinking about doing some kind of late game Guardian shenanigans. That'd be quite cute. But we do have the probe now, getting ready to take a third for Pusan. Killer's army is actually moving to the top right. I'm not sure what he's doing. Is he just sending his entire army to kill one Corsair? I guess. Pusan doesn't even react there and just loses the Corsair instantly. Meanwhile, some Overlords looks like going to spread around. Just provide some vision for Killer. 2-0 now done for Le Protoss. And his third base going up. Looks like 1-0 done for the Hydras, +1 ranged attack. But he's kind of given up his map control now. So Killer not quite in as good shape as he was. Pusan now able to get his third base up. He's kind of got his army still being defensive. You know, he doesn't have a very big force. He doesn't want to move out just yet. Doesn't want to overcommit. Killer actually taking a hidden expansion here at the 12 o'clock. I'm not sure if that's even necessary. He could have really just taken the top right natural. I don't think there's anything Pusan can actually do about it. But Killer slightly concerned about Pusan's army here, so he's actually gone ahead and done that instead for his fourth. Meanwhile, did he just make more mutas? Or is that muta just like patrolling or something? Anyway, probe's going over to the third. I don't know why that Corsair just stopped. It's interesting. And DT actually going to the 6 o'clock for some curious reason there. Maybe he's just trying to kill those random spotting Zerglings. And now the main army is actually moving over to the top right. Perhaps going to try and do some denial on a fourth base, but in fact there's nothing there. Meanwhile, oh, is that a drop? Oh, Lurker drop at the back of the third, very cute. That's actually out of range of the cannon. That's a huge pain for Pusan. Looks like he's bringing back the majority of units here. Once again, I gotta say, in the same vein as with Sky, you really don't want to be overcommitting your army here. I mean, look, he's sending his entire army back to deal with one Lurker, when really he could just send reinforcements and just like an observer from his natural and be fine. So I really dislike this. Maybe he just wasn't making another observer, so he wanted to clear this out ASAPly. I mean, yeah, still pretty tricky. To be fair, it's really not easy to be able to split your forces like that, but I just think, Protoss players these Protosses need to just kind of, use a few units from the natural to deal with these small harassments and not wield the entire force of the army like that. Because if you get your entire army out of position, you can get into really bad spots. I mean, that's how Sky lost game 1. He was completely fine, and then just his army was in the wrong place at the wrong time and just instantly lost the game. So, looks like, oh man, look at that mini-map. The Protoss army is actually surrounded, but the DD does actually catch the hidden expansion here, but here we go. Here's the big engagement. How good is this surround going to be? A lot of storms going down, very little storm dodging, but not very many High Templar. The Mutas actually looks like they came in from the back and sniped some of the High Templar, and oh my god, so many Zerg forces. This is the full might of the Zerg swarm here. This is exactly what you want to see from a Zerg, just a huge flood of units from every angle. Oh man, and the poor Protoss defenders, how can they possibly hope to stop the endless wave of Zerg? There's actually a lot of cannons there, though. That's definitely going to help. Cannons are always a good start. But oh no, more Muta sniping, and this is see, I was wondering why he made Mutas earlier, because I saw that, I was like, oh, what's he doing with that? It looks like he was just for Templar sniping. Grabs another High Templar there, but does he actually have enough ground forces to break this? Because his fourth base just died here, so if Pusan actually holds on here, he will actually be in decent shape, 3 base against 3 base. The question is, can he even hold on? It doesn't look like he's got any more storms. Does he have enough ground units? It's hard to tell. I mean, Hydras are so cost effective against Protoss ground units. You really need the storms to even the battle here, but it looks like Pusan will actually somehow hold this off despite getting slaughtered in the middle of the map. This time he had a good amount of reinforcements, and now Killer is a little bit dry on his main and his natural, and he's got no fourth anymore, so Killer's the one who might be in a little bit of trouble here. As I said earlier on, kind of goofing off, making 2 proxy hatcheries has actually hurt him now once the contain was broken. So Pusan looks like he might stave off the 3-0 defeat at least, or the 0-3 defeat. Either way, he's just holding position here outside of his third base, just wants to defend that. He's playing defensively, and I completely agree with that. Lost control of a few of his zealots there, but not the end of the world. The High Templar are really the crucial element of this army here. He's got 3 of those in the army. By the way, it looks like one of his gateways is actually rallied just below his ramp rather than outside his natural a little bit. That might cause some clogging issues later. So he's got to be a little bit aware of that. Looks like he maybe forgot to re-rally one of his gateways further outside his natural. those are the small things, by the way, that sometimes can cause issue. I mean, I'm sure everybody remembers that game, the infamous Jadon Outlier game where he blocked like 50 supply of units in his main. That can actually often happen when you just misrally one gateway or one barracks or factory or something, and just have a couple of units from one production facility blocking a bunch more units behind. Of course, Jadon was an extreme case there, but the principle still stands. So Pusan now, confident enough to start moving around with his army again. He's got to be very careful, so as we saw earlier, he kind of got himself caught in the middle of the map and got completely surrounded by the Zerg. That's not the kind of engagement you want, because that kind of minimizes the effect of your storms. You really want to kind of engage the Zerg on as small a surface area as possible to really make use of your storms and your superior units there. But here comes the Zerg killer once again going for a surround here. The Protoss army once again might be caught out of position. How good are the storms going to be? The mutas rather coming in once again to snipe the High Templars. Oh my god, almost no storms go off. Just a single storm on the Mutalisks. There's one more High Templar left, but I don't know if it even has any storms. And once again the Protoss army in full retreat here. Killer just with great sniping on the High Templars. Pusan might want to wait next time for a few more High Templars. I think he only had 3 to begin with anyway. So does manage to save the majority of his dragoons, the expensive dragoons. So that's good for him. But man, just unable to get a good engagement in the middle of the map at all. And while all that was going on, Killer got a 4th base up at the top right natural. So man, this is starting to look a little bit hairy again for Pusan. Once that 4th base gets up and running, I mean, Killer's just been so dominant in his army control. Look at this, just sniping another High Templar. There's a lot of Zealots and Dragoons, but without the High Templars, the Hydra's just going to be way too effective here. Looks like, oh man, a lot of Hydras coming from the back, just completely slaughtering the Dragoons. I think this could be the end for Pusan here. Just way too many Hydras. The entire army going down in flames, going down in blue goo here. 2 more Templars at the natural, but oh man. Pusan just can't handle just the army engagements, man. It's almost like game 1, in fact, where he did a lot of great multitasking, a lot of great harass, but every time there was a fight, he got completely crushed. And now it looks like Killer moving into the 3rd base here. The probes, are they going to fight? Yeah, it looks like they're going to fight here. Try and defend with the help of the cannons. And meanwhile, the army coming in from the backside. The lurkers all finished. They're all going to burrow in a clump. If you can get some storms off, that'll be amazing. They all on burrow, but there's no units left for Protoss. So I think probably going to be the end here. 3-0 in Killer's favor, unfortunately. A ZVZ finals. At least somebody's going to be happy about that. Some people seem to like ZVZ. I mean, I suppose if we get a Hive Tech game, I can't complain too much, but that looks like the GG from Pusan. And Killer will take it down 3-0, easy peasy. And move on to face Larva in the finals. It will be a ZVZ finals. Pusan will play against Sky in the 3rd, 4th place match in a PvP. And remember, guys, those will be broadcasted live from a like an 800-seat stadium in some university that they've rented out, I think. And that will be cast by none other than Kim Carrier himself. It's going to be epic. I don't actually know exactly when it is. Is it just going to be next week or the week after? I actually don't know. Someone could say in the chat. But either way, it should be very exciting.